What is up, all you disease nerds out there? Thank you for tuning into the Fan Wars podcast with us today. We're just some regular old nerds who love talking sweaty content from a fan's perspective. We got the regular crew on with us today. First off, coming in hot, our resident dripologist, Bodie, Cody, a.k.a. Bodie Williams. Bodie, what's up?
What up, nerds?
Next, we got the Dark Lord of the Sith, David Hidalgo. David, what's happening?
Que onda? Anakin did nothing wrong.
Last but certainly not least, we have the man who actually has a lot of nicknames, but we just call him Hunter Holmes. Hunter, what's good?
Remember what the Joker said, guys. What doesn't kill you makes you stronger.
That's not even the quote, but
yes, it is.
No, it's not. He said, "Whatever doesn't kill you makes you stranger." He would have lost that point if we were playing the game.
He tried.
What's funny is he had gone through like 3 quotes before we started recording. Oh man!
Hey, you know what? You got to slip up early to make sure the rest of y'all are on your game. You know, it's I did it for y'all.
Okay,
part of the
that's
plan.
fine. That's fine. I understand. Yeah, it's all part of the plan.
I'm just ahead of the curve.
That makes me stranger.
Yeah.
Chestnut checkers.
All right. We are back after a couple weeks off. Like I said, we're going to be doing the podcast bi-weekly, try to do it every 2 weeks. Not a ton of content to talk about going around just because of the Rona, as we've coined it. How have you guys been handling the coronavirus and the social distancing? How have you guys been going about it?
Well, if I could go first, I am currently unemployed because all barbershops are closed. So I am unemployed. I am living the bum life. I woke up around 1 p.m. today. The only thing I've eaten today is a PB&J.
Oh yeah.
So I'm handling it okay. It's been 1 week. I miss going out. Yeah, I don't even remember what the sun looks like anymore.
That's tough. I mean, it's pretty much like that for everybody. I'm still working, but it's pretty much go to work and then come back and nothing else. What about the rest?
I've made my way through the Mandalorian season 1 again already.
Let's go.
I watched A New Hope last night. I watched The Dark Knight this morning, so I didn't get made fun of today.
Still going to.
I should say I watched The Dark Knight again. But anyways, it's pretty much the same as always for me, actually, now that I think about it. Now that I say it out loud. Yeah, pretty much the same as normal, being a sweaty nerd.
Yeah. The weekdays are pretty much the same, yeah. That's pretty fun. I was thinking, speaking of Star Wars, I had just started a new freelance writing position with ScreenRant.com, and they have like this big group chat where like we can like everybody can get in there and like talk and stuff. You can talk to the editors if you need to, or talk to the other writers and stuff like that. And like I had just joined it, and I just put The Last Jedi is the best Star Wars film, and then I just like left the chat for right now. So I'm hoping after the podcast to come back to a ton of controversy.
Josh, you're gonna come back. You're gonna come back to, sir, you're fired.
I was like, I want to join this and start things up immediately. So yeah, I'm hoping to come back to some nice messages after that. But yeah, the corona's been it's been crazy out there, and I think we just said like Austin might be doing some kind of shutdown starting tomorrow. Yeah, so things are getting interesting, but
and then meanwhile in my world it's there's a virus going around. Literally nothing has changed.
It's tough. Yeah, but one thing, speaking of keeping on the virus, some of the films, one of the topics we wanted to talk about today, are thinking of going straight not only straight from theater, but straight to video on demand, but straight to video on demand, like upon release. Films like they're discussing it with Wonder Woman 1984. They're discussing it with the Black Widow movie, which was supposed to come out in May, I think. And like some other films, like Bad Boys 3 is already on video on demand. It wasn't supposed to be like yet. The Rise of Skywalker is already on video on demand. The Gentleman's already going to video on demand. So tons of films are going on video on demand. What do you guys think about that? Do you think it'll like this is just a temporary thing because of the virus, or do you think this might change things permanently?
Honestly, I think this could really hurt the theater industry in general, because I think when people see, as much as I like movies, I really don't make it out to the theater all that often. I watch a lot more things at home. Mm-hmm. And, if I could watch new stuff from home, I would probably even pay more than I would for a movie ticket. And I think maybe not more, but at least the same amount. And, they could cut out that middleman there,
Yeah. And also, because I always prefer going to the theater just because I like the experience. But most people I would think are probably like you, and especially when you're talking about people with families and stuff like that, mm-hmm. and they have children who every time they go to the movie theater, it's like an event, and they have to, or even if they don't take their kids to the theater, they have to find babysitters and stuff like that. If you're talking about more movies are going straight to video on demand, that'll help families a lot.
And plus, everybody's got a 100-inch TV in their house now.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Well,
yeah,
and let's not forget that it's going to make dates a little harder. Like, I guarantee you, all of us here have taken a girl to the movies for a date.
No doubt.
Yeah,
but
what you gonna do?
Hey, who does that? Plus, do you want to come to my house to watch the movie? Do you want to come to my house and watch the new movie?
That's a terrible date.
Yeah, but Bodie, when you're in high school, that don't really.
In high school, that's not great. Well, who cares about high school kids? We're talking about nerds, old nerds.
That's a terrible date.
That is a terrible date. Please.
No, I mean it is a young person date.
Yeah, sure. I mean it's a young. Yeah, everybody's taking a girl to the movies or something like that, or at least in like a group or some sort of.
Apparently not
like
David.
Yeah, yes.
I mean, I did that in high school.
That's what we're talking about.
Said. Yeah,
young kids.
Okay.
But go ahead.
I mean, I was just gonna say. I mean, like aside from that, though, I mean, most people in a theater aren't there. They're not 17-year-olds on a date, and for someone like me, I like to go to the movies and I like to drink while I watch the movie, and then thus I have to go to the restroom when I watch movies. So it'd be nice to be able to do that at home more often. Yeah. Not have to sprint to the restroom during the Rise of Skywalker, although I didn't miss anything. But
yeah, I think it'll be interesting. I think the Corona is showing that you could do a lot of things differently, I mean, you can just look at a traffic map today.
Oh,
there's
dude,
no traffic.
The traffic in Austin is way down.
So obviously these offices could like have their people work from home permanently. Yeah. But that's a topic for another time. With the movie thing, I don't know. For me, I like going to the movies because it makes me commit to the movie.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Like it's an experience itself, but then it makes me commit because it's like, okay, I paid my $12, $8, whatever, to get in here. I'm going to sit down, enjoy the movie. It doesn't matter if it's an hour and a half or 2 hours and a half. You know, like I'm here for it compared to when you're at home. There's distractions and the audio isn't as good,
Not nearly as good.
I will say to your point, like I rarely leave the theater thinking like that was a bad movie. But I watch stuff at home all the time. And I'm like, that was awful. So like,
the experience is so much better. Like you said, you got the huge IMAX screen, or even if it's not IMAX, you got the huge screen. You get to see more. You got the Dolby Atmos audio and stuff like that. You can hear all the bass and you can hear all the footsteps and stuff like that, where you can't hear when you're watching it at home. So. Yeah, it's definitely a better experience, but I feel like people not leaving the comfort of their home would, I don't know, that might be a game changer for some people,
I'm wondering what the money's going to look like for these companies too. Like if it's going to be more it's going to be more money or less money.
Oh,
because with Wonder Woman, for example, like that movie should have, like it was going to come out last November, and then they pushed it to this to June or whatever.
Yeah,
and I'm sure they're beating themselves up over that. They probably would have made a lot of money if they showed it in November. But it'll be interesting to see because I mean these superhero movies are what, like $250 million budget movies, you know, if not more.
Most around there, one to 200. Yeah.
So for them to be profitable, they have to make like 800 million at least. You know, it's like, is it really going to make that much money?
Yeah, usually the theaters keep like a third of the ticket prices, so you have to make back like an extra third, you know, what you put in, but also you got to take into consideration marketing. The movies be putting in like 50-60 million into marketing, you know, and stuff like that too. Yeah. So it's definitely not gonna make as much money in the theater on demand as it would in the theater. That's for sure. So I don't know.
I think it'll be interesting at this time because if we're still in quarantine, I'm sure it'll make a shit ton of money because I mean people are at home. Mm-hmm. But when there's other options for entertainment, I don't think that's like a feasible option.
Well, and I was gonna say I think maybe they'll make less money at first, but I think once they kind of figure out how they want to do the on-demand movies at home, like. I mean, I get they'll lose money in a sense that people will have 3-4 people over and one person pays for the movie. But, you know, if once they figure out how they're going to price it and stuff, I mean, you know, like I said, like you look at boxing, I mean, that's a one-night event and it's not quite the same, but I mean, they make tons of money just in one night because they figured out the perfect price that people will pay to watch it from their own home and split it amongst themselves and yada, yada. I think movies will kind of get there too. They'll just kind of have to figure it out.
Yeah. I don't think it'll make it to the superhero movies. I don't think the superhero movies will be releasing on demand and stuff like that. I can't see it because, like, if you're talking like, look for example like the Rise of Skywalker movie, like, or even just like your stereotypical Marvel movie that makes like 600-700 million at the box office. Like that, I don't think you can make that at home. At home. Yeah.
I can see them kind of like maybe doing like a hybrid of the two and like release it in the theaters for X amount of time and then straight to video on demand.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, go
like,
on
probably like two. Yeah, basically like kind of what Disney did with like Onward, for example. Like that movie's still in theaters, but now it's on their streaming service and on demand. But so like they're double dipping basically, and so they have on demand and still theater sales. So I can see them doing something like that because, like, if I want to watch a movie, I don't want to spend $20 for it, so I'll just go to the movie theater.
Yeah.
But if I have like 6 people over, I'll just spend the $20 to do it there because it's cheaper. So that's what people are going to do, and like Bodie was saying, the movie industry will figure out how to price it correctly to maximize profit, because that's what movies are at the end of the day for studios, is just profit and dollar signs.
Oh yeah, they don't make a movie unless they plan on it making them money. Yeah, they definitely. But what about when
out there like my artistic integrity?
Yeah, no, they're like screw that.
I don't know. Justice League.
They planned on Justice League making.
Don't make me cry.
But what about like you brought up streaming services too? What do you think how that could factor in? Because also if you're talking about if Disney makes a movie and like releases it in theater, a movie on streaming service and a movie and going to video on demand is not going to make the same amount of money. Like
I think it'll be interesting, like, because like you could have basically a cash race for a movie. Like, let's say a movie comes out that isn't owned by Disney or Netflix or anything like that. I know that's rare, but
what's not owned by Disney?
Yeah, you could get like a bigger, like Netflix could probably be willing to pay more to get the rights for that streaming earlier to counteract Disney or something like that. So that could maybe recoup some of their losses.
Well, it seems like that kind of happened with the Oscar movies, because I know that Parasite was on Netflix for like a week or two before the Oscars, and then now it's on Hulu. So I'm sure that's already starting to happen, where people are kind of bidding over these streaming rights over movies that they know people are going to watch or want to watch, I guess you should say.
Yeah, but that's not making if Netflix or if Disney has to buy or if any studio has to buy a property or spend a lot of money buying a property and then they put it on their streaming service. That's not making them money, per se. That's because they already have the subscribers or whatever, That's not like they had to pay to get that movie. They're not.
See, that's why I don't see the streaming services being as much of a factor as far as like changing the theater industry or whatever. Like, I think on demand is a bigger threat because at the end, especially because like if we were talking about, like, sure, maybe you'll get less quote unquote ticket sales by selling it on demand at home.
Yeah, but
you don't have to give anything to the theaters. You're cutting out a pretty serious middleman there.
Yeah,
30% is a pretty serious profit, or pretty big chunk. So the streaming, I don't, like you said, it doesn't really help the streaming. Disney Plus, they put a movie on there, whatever. They might get some more subscriptions, but it's not going to drive everything up.
That doesn't move the needle. Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't see streaming as much of a threat to the theaters.
I wasn't saying like it was a threat, but like how I was saying, like a movie will go on, or like how Onward, like going back to Onward, how Onward went to streaming while it's still in theaters. I can see like Netflix doing that. I'm not saying like go straight from production to Netflix. Like I'm saying still go in the theater, and then Netflix just moves their timeline up to acquire the movie, I guess would be the best way to put it.
Okay,
if they can make more money from Netflix to do that, then I can see that happening for sure. I mean, if Netflix would be willing to, which Netflix seems to be willing to pay for anything, but if they're willing to pay to get that movie on streaming while it's still in the theaters, I can see the.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to. Yeah, I realize now that I messed up how I worded that, but that's what I was trying to convey.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Yeah, it'll definitely be interesting going forward, seeing what happens with all this. Would you guys, we can close this part with this, would you guys prefer to see Wonder Woman and like Black Widow at home with a bunch of your friends, like with all of us together, or would you prefer going to the movies to see it?
Me with Black Widow, I don't care. I watch that at home. I'm only watching them. I'm only watching the movie because it's like the first movie of the new phase.
Yeah.
I think the movie's completely unnecessary, but I'll watch it. With Wonder Woman, I've been waiting for Wonder Woman for 2 years, so I'd much rather go watch it in theaters. And honestly, Wonder Woman 1 was very cinematic, definitely had its very cinematic scenes.
Yeah.
I feel like you'd miss out on a lot if you didn't
the
go
No
watch
Man's
it in
Land
IMAX.
scene, this is for sure.
Yeah. You'd miss out on a lot because I'm sure the score is going to be amazing too, and the sound and everything. Yeah. So I think you'd be really missing out if you didn't have the opportunity to watch a movie like Wonder Woman in theaters.
And to be fair, people might not want to do this just because like like The Rise of Skywalker, for example, a movie that we don't love so much. Mm-hmm. Most of the good parts of that movie were the visuals and the audio, like being in the theater. Like that's.
If I would have watched that at home for the first time, I would have been very upset more than I was.
So production companies won't be so quick to do that because I'm sure they realize that more than we do, how important just that aspect of it is.
Yeah, but I guess it does just depend on the movie because, like, for example, a movie like. The Rise of Skywalker, and then a movie that came out around the same time, but on Netflix, like Marriage Story. Like Marriage Story came out on Netflix, so and that's a movie that you're not missing too much seeing it on the small screen, on the big screen. It's more of a small story.
You can watch anywhere.
Yeah.
So.
You're not missing too much seeing it on the small screen and the big screen. But even so, I prefer seeing it in the theater. What about you, Hunter?
So kind of like what Dave was saying, like if it's a movie I really want to see, I want to see it in the theater because my ADHD ass cannot watch a movie at home with like out doing something else in the middle. I don't remember the last time I watched a movie at home and like I wasn't on my phone or just doing something else during it. But like when I go to the theater, it's just in my head, okay, leave your phone here and just watch the movie. And so my brain's just programmed like that. So I'd want to watch it in the theater.
Yeah.
I'm the same exact way, and I think that's how most Americans are now.
Yeah, pretty much everybody's like that.
We're used to 45-minute, 50-minute episodes.
Yeah,
like you know what I'm saying. Yeah. So I'm with Hunter on that.
Yeah, even 20-minute episodes. But another thing I wanted to talk about. is Rosario Dawson. It's not confirmed by Star Wars, but it's on sites like Star Wars Newsnet, and I really trust those guys when it comes to Star Wars news and stuff, so it's probably going to happen. But Rosario Dawson is rumored to be playing Ashoka in The Mandalorian Season 2. I know Bodie was saying he just rewatched the first season. I need to do that as well. But what do you guys think? I'm pretty sure like this is a slam dunk for everybody. If this rumor is true, what do you guys think?
Oh yeah, I'm loving it. Ahsoka, like every time I watch one of those videos where they put all of like everything that she's in, I'm like, yo, she might be the best character in Star Wars. Like honestly,
she is one of the best. Honestly,
yeah,
her character art. She hasn't made an appearance on the big screen yet, besides like her voice in The Rise of Skywalker. But she's honestly had one of the best character art, and honestly, like one of the biggest like revivals in terms of her standing like with fans, because when she first came out on the Clone Wars movie, the animated movie, and it was like it came out in theaters actually, but the Clone Wars animated movie that kicked off the series, fans hated Ahsoka, and like she was annoying. I'm not gonna lie, like she was annoying in that, but as the series went on and stuff, she's just like a fan favorite now, and like one of everybody's like favorite characters now. So I think that's a slam dunk.
Yeah, I'm very excited to see her in live action. I think it'll be a very good mix into The Mandalorian.
Mm-hmm.
It'll be interesting to see what she's like a part of, because it's set after. Because I mean, this whole thing's set after Return of the Jedi, right?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I don't know. That'll be interesting. Maybe she knows what's going on and what's going to happen, or I don't know. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah. Were you gonna say something, Bodie?
I was just gonna say what you and I were talking about last night was, what they talked, Moff Gideon, his name,
Giancarlo Esposito.
Esposito, yeah. So we were talking about
yeah, I didn't say that.
I'm drunk.
So we were talking about how he hinted at some pretty epic lightsaber action in season 2, and obviously we know that he has the dark saber. And so, like you and I said, obviously it seems like Rosario Dawson's character is pretty fit to have some pretty awesome lightsaber battles.
Yeah, for sure.
In season 2 here, so that's pretty exciting. I mean, as far as her acting skills, I can only I know Zombieland 2, but I can't really think of what else. Men in Black. Oh yeah, Men in Black 2. But anyway, I'm not a big Sin City guy. But
we're gonna have to fight.
Yeah, see, I'm thinking
He should have kept that one to himself. She was in Luke Cage too, wasn't she? Recently, I think she was a character in Luke Cage.
She was in Daredevil because she crossed over.
Oh, okay, so she was in both of them too. Then, so she's familiar with this comic.
I know she's going to be good. I know.
Yeah,
they're not going to throw her in the Mandalorian is batting 1,000 so far. So yes, I wouldn't assume, but I do look forward to seeing some lightsaber, dark saber action.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that'll be. And I'm trying to think, because when you brought up the timeline, David, that started to make me think. I'm trying to think. The last time we saw Ahsoka, because it was like weird, because you all seen like Rebels all the way through?
I haven't finished it.
I don't know if I want to spoil. Whoa.
Just go ahead. I know what happens.
Okay. I was about to say, because there's an episode, one of the last episodes of Rebels is called A World Between Worlds. And it's like they sort of introduced time travel, but not really. It was more like Ezra, one of the main characters, like stepped into a portal that took him like into like a physical manifestation of what the Force was. Like he was in the Force pretty much, and he was able to pull Ahsoka out of her fight with Vader, just like even though it was like happened 2 years prior. And so like she pretty much. That's the last time we saw her at the end of that. And like she had like a bunch of like white robes on and stuff like that. And she's pretty much like at what they would be quote unquote like a gray Jedi now, not a Jedi, but not a Sith, you know, so like somewhere in between. But it'd be great to see her on the on the small screen again. Like she's one of my favorite characters, and especially from the animated stuff. So it'd be great to see her.
Josh said, "Help."
Corona.
No, I definitely don't have Corona, but yeah, that's funny. Help. Yeah, but no, I've always been skeptical about Ahsoka from the part that she was Anakin's Padawan. And I mean, just from like the movies, like if you took out all like the canon material and just looked at the films, like they were not giving Anakin a Padawan. Like no way. Like when you look at him in episode 3, like no way were they giving him a Padawan.
Yeah. Point before episode 3 would he have had one, and there's definitely no point after he would have one.
And so. and especially because I think when the movie kicked off the Clone Wars series, it takes place like 2 years after Attack of the Clones. So it's like, dude, 2 years after Attack of the Clones, you're telling me they gave Anakin a Padawan? Like, yeah, right. Yeah, right.
You do have to remember this. These are the same people that said Palpatine transferred his consciousness while falling down.
Could have just stopped it somehow.
No, it's not even the same people. Honestly, it's Dave Filoni. Like Dave Filoni and George Lucas gave Ahsoka, like gave Anakin this Padawan. Like, but I know.
I was just trying to get you mad.
Oh, thanks. But yeah, so I've always been skeptical about her from that part. But she's a great character, and like I've grown to love her and stuff like that. Even besides that, and her moments with Vader and Rebels are just they're some of the best in Star Wars. So. I'm not too concerned about it. But do you guys have any other thoughts about Ahsoka being the Mandalorian?
Can't wait.
Yeah, it's going to be cool. They need to give Jon Favreau a film, but we can talk about that another time.
Hell yeah.
We can talk about that now. I would love that.
Who says no?
I
love everything Jon Favreau does. And The Mandalorian is so good.
Yeah, like everything he touches like seems to be gold, especially like of recently and stuff. Yeah. And when he's gotten into, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, especially like when you want to start a franchise or something.
Yeah, like he's been kicking stuff off like crazy, and I just love the fact that him and Dave Filoni have been working together. Like I've always said, like Dave Filoni probably knows the most about Star Wars. That's like not anybody in the actual story group or anybody named George Lucas. Like he's just like an encyclopedia of Star Wars. So the fact that those two have been working together on The Mandalorian is just great. I hope they would team up for a film eventually, but
that would be so cool, man. That would be awesome.
Yeah,
were we I guess this isn't about John, but were we planning on talking about how the corona is like it's making all of these TV shows and movies stop production? Because that's just kind of crazy.
We talk about Batman, but
well, we're only like 2 weeks into this, right? So like as of now, the Batman is delayed for 2 weeks, which doesn't sound like a lot, but for a movie production, it's a lot, you know.
Oh yeah, no, it's a lot.
And obviously, it's going to stop production for like a lot of TV shows, pretty much everything.
Yeah.
And I mean, this could be like in 2008 with the Writers Guild thing that happened, where if they have to stop production for too long, a lot of these projects could get just canceled completely. Yeah. So. I don't think we don't really know what's going to happen, but
I don't think the big ones will get canceled. Like, I don't think the Batman and stuff will get canceled. They've poured way too much money into
stuff we care about, like Mandalorian. They've already started filming that, and that's still a long way away. So, that, I think you're safe, right?
Yeah, and they might be close to done filming that, honestly, because
they've got so much time still.
Yeah, because what's the actress's name that plays Cara Dune in the she used to be a UFC fighter. Why can I not think of her name right now?
Gianna Caro?
Yeah, but her. She had said she wrapped filming on The Mandalorian season 2. So I think they're getting close. But like if this keeps going, like I know this could affect with Star Wars 2, the Obi-Wan series and the Cassian Andor series that they were supposed to start filming this year. I don't know how.
I'm getting nervous about that Obi-Wan though, because there were already kind of rumors about like it being in limbo and stuff, and if this continues on, they just might say, "Well, we'll get back to that."
Yeah,
and just kind of shelf it.
It was having script issues, so I don't know how it's gonna go, but Ewan McGregor assured it was gonna happen. It was just being delayed a little bit because of some script issues and stuff. But I mean, I don't know. I hope it happens.
Real quick on this, so we don't piss off a certain sector of our 20 fans. Gina Carano is the name.
Gina Carano, yes. Gina Carano.
Is that not what I said?
You said something.
Gianna. Yeah. Gianna something close to that.
Gianna Carano.
Gina Carano.
That's not it. Yeah.
Well, that's close. It was a good guess.
Yeah.
But I'm white, okay?
Just Gina. That was easier.
But yeah, she said she wrapped filming. But I hope the Obi-Wan series still happens because Deborah Chow, she directed the episode with all the Mandalorians in the Mandalorian. So that episode was really cool. And she's supposed to be doing the whole Obi-Wan series. So I really hope it happens.
Maybe one of the best episodes, actually.
Yeah, to be honest. So I'm hoping.
It could mess up Marvel's TV Marvel's timeline because. From what I understand, they basically wanted they wanted
stuff and stuff.
Yeah, because from what I understand, they wanted to release everything back to back to back. Winter Soldier ends and then WandaVision starts, and then WandaVision ends and then Loki starts, and then Moon Knight starts, and then She-Hulk starts.
Yeah.
So it could mess up that whole release timeline because I don't think they've even started production for WandaVision yet.
Bouncing off of what David just said, this is just a little side note. I hope that Marvel makes these limited series and doesn't do what they did with Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. because I liked Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. to start off, but then I just kind of fell off, and I feel like TV shows
limited series 100%.
They're not going to fall into that trap a lot.
They're not going to have these big name actors for 6-7 seasons, stuff like that. They're going to be limited series 100%.
Yeah, I'm just trying to speak it to existence.
Yeah. No, but I'm with you. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., I watched the first couple seasons, and then, I just fell out of it.
The only season I watched was the one with the Mexican Ghost Rider.
Yeah, I remember. I had fallen off by then, but was that good? Was it good?
Yeah, that was actually a really good season, and then as soon as he drove away in his bike, or he doesn't even have a bike, he has a muscle car. As soon as he drove away in his muscle car, I was like, all right, I'm done.
He said, all right, peace out. So enough of that.
Peace out.
No, that's funny. It'll be interesting to see what Marvel has Loki because I feel like I haven't heard a lot about Loki either.
You know what? They had started production because I know that trailer got leaked. The one that they showed at the Disney stock thing.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah, and then same thing with WandaVision. I think they've done enough filming for small trailers, I guess.
Well, they showed the trailer at what was it, Super Bowl? Was it that they showed all three of them in one trailer?
Yeah, yeah. So I think they've done enough filming for pre-production, but I don't think they've done any real filming for WandaVision or Loki. Yeah. I know they had to stop. I know they stopped production on Winter Soldier because they were filming in Prague. So they stopped production on that 2 weeks ago.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that'll be interesting. I hope it doesn't.
Better not push The Witcher 2 back. Witcher.
They already did. They stopped production for it.
They were filming that.
Yeah.
No, I just mean they don't it doesn't get canceled or anything.
Oh, The Witcher it won't get canceled. That's their highest. No, that thing was their high. The Witcher was their highest watched thing on Netflix ever. Apparently, that won't get canceled. That's them canceling Stranger Things. That won't.
I
won't
never
cancel.
saw that. So
I haven't seen it either, but I know it was their highest.
I hate y'all.
Because of Yennefer, she fine as hell.
I haven't seen it yet. I need to watch it. I haven't seen it yet.
Well, with Bodie, I'm not surprised considering I recommended Warrior, and it took him 2.5 months to watch it.
It was all right.
Hey, man, we got a busy schedule. It was all right.
I'm sure you thought The Dark Knight was all right too. Oh wait,
we need to talk about that.
Yeah,
The Dark Knight was great. I just
let's talk about that. So, we were discussing last night in our group message with a lot of our friends, and Bodie just casually throws out foolishly because he's an idiot that he was like, yeah, I mean, Heath Ledger was great in The Joker, but The Joker that came out in 2019 was a better movie.
Not like that. I need to stop you already.
Dark Knight.
I need to stop him already because Heath Ledger was the best Joker by a mile. But I like the movie The Joker the best.
No, okay, and let me stop you there. You didn't say you liked the movie. You said it was a better movie. You said The Joker was a better movie than The Dark Knight, ladies and gentlemen. Attack his comments at it. Tweet him. Flood his tweets with hate messages. And no, don't do that. But yeah, let's talk about that. So Bodie Bodie likes The Joker at least more than The Dark Knight. Where do the rest of you guys stand on that?
I mean, I thought The Joker was a great movie. Don't get me wrong, but there's no way it's even close to The Dark Knight. I mean, The Dark Knight's like a crime drama, you know. It's like the score is just. I mean, I guess it's hard to even compare the two.
Nope.
Yeah.
But for me personally, I don't see it anywhere close to The Dark Knight. Like The Joker was like better than most movies. Don't get me wrong. Like it was definitely a higher tier for me. Yeah. But especially in terms of rewatchability, like it's probably going to take me another year to watch The Joker again. I could watch The Dark Knight once a month. If I wanted to,
do watch it once a month.
But yeah.
So I
only. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, you go ahead. You go ahead. We have
good job, Molly.
Go ahead, Skip.
All I was going to say is,
go ahead, Max.
I was going to actually defend Bodie just a little by saying that The Joker, probably the only area for me that it probably beats The Dark Knight in is the message. Like, I feel like it has a better like introspective of society than The Dark Knight, but that's it. The Dark Knight so much better in every other aspect.
So, like I said, first of all, they are very different kinds of movies. But I do like The Joker better, so I'm not backpedaling here. But what I meant when I actually said maybe The Joker is a better movie is like as far as
you didn't
like
say maybe.
I think I actually did. I think I said
you keep talking.
Just keep talking. Just keep talking.
What I meant was like as far as like critically acclaimed, like I thought, didn't the Joker win more awards or at least be nominated for more awards? I mean, that's all I really meant.
That's off the Dark Knight's coattails. That back in 2008, a comic book movie wasn't going to get nominated for those kind of awards.
Suicide Squad was kind of also off that coattails too with the Joker, and that movie sucked. So
Suicide Squad came out before the Joker.
Yeah, I know. That's what I mean. But it was also kind of off the coattail of Dark Knight, right? I mean.
Oh, yeah. But that's also like from now, that was 12 years ago for that was 12 years ago from the Dark Knight came out. But and Suicide Squad came out in 2016. So even that has been a while.
And one's a good movie and one isn't.
I will just say that the reason I like the Joker more and I will say that The Dark Knight, especially as far as superhero movies go, The Dark Knight is a pretty realistic movie. I mean, the gadgets and stuff that Batman has are kind of wild, and it's just a rich guy going out and beating up criminals for no reason. But
it's also the tone and the world that it is that I feel like is realistic too. Keep going.
It's a very realistic movie. It's just the Joker is just more. Joker is something that could happen. I mean, for the most part. I mean, even the riots and everything, and him getting slammed out of the cop car, and people. I mean, I know it's kind of unrealistic, but it's the most realistic. It's a pretty real movie. And plus, like Hunter was saying, like it's just, as far as like anxiety and depression and other kind of mental health issues that people have, like. Mm-hmm. I feel like that movie is like we all if you don't have mental health issues yourself, somebody who does, and like that movie is people can relate to that. I felt like so that's all. I know people love The Dark Knight and y'all gonna crucify me or whatever, but that's what I felt like. The Joker was relatable and realistic, and that's why I loved it so much.
Yeah, I can see that. I think one thing that the Joker lacks that The Dark Knight is chock full of is one, originality, and well, yeah, but it's not
an action movie, really.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah, it's a drama, but even I think originality is one thing that the Joker lacks, because I think it does deal with some tough issues like mental health issues and stuff like that, and depression and stuff like that. But I mean,
it's a DC Taxi Driver.
Pretty much, yeah. It's a DC Taxi Driver.
It is Taxi Driver-esque.
Yeah,
it's Taxi Driver adjacent.
Yeah, and the director Todd Phillips said it was like heavily inspired by Taxi Driver, but I mean he didn't even have to say that. Like you could just watch the film and you know. But not only that, I'm not gonna say the next part I was gonna say. It's good.
You're cool.
Too spicy.
Too spicy. I'm not gonna. Yeah, it's not appropriate. I'll drop it in the group chat, but. The dark, I feel like it lacks the originality that the dark, and like the cinematography that the Dark Knight has. The Dark Knight feels so cinematic and things like that, and I think it has a good message too. Some of the stuff the Joker says in The Dark Knight is so relevant, especially now with the coronavirus. Like when he say I'm ahead of the curve. Like he was saying, like all these civilized people, like they'll eat each other when the chips are down. When things get hard, their little code that they quote unquote have, like they'll drop that at the first sign of trouble, and that's happening right now. With
that's what I'm saying. Like I love his character, not even just his Joker. Like I think he's the best Joker by a mile, but that character in general is such a good character. Yeah. And he's just so freaking weird. And hey, did I tell you how I got these scars?
You want to see a magic trick?
Exactly. And him washing his hands after he was in the nurse's outfit, it cracks me up now when he's walking out of the hospital room. But yeah, so I think it there's stuff that the Dark Knight has that the Joker lacks, but even then I still think the Joker is a fantastic movie. But Dark Knight,
hard to compare, like y'all said. They're pretty hard to compare. I'm just which one I liked more. I like the Joker more, and I'm clearly
you're wrong.
Yeah.
No, they're both great movies though. But I just wanted to shed some light on that before we moved on to anything else. But is there anything else you guys wanted to talk about? Because that's all we have
Batman. David likes Batman versus Superman.
Hey, I like the 3-hour version. Okay,
I actually have it's funny because I put up all the rest of my posters I have in my room yesterday, and I have a Batman v Superman poster and a Suicide Squad poster, and I don't like those movies, but they have great posters. So
Batman v Superman had it before it came out.
It was lit.
I thought it was going to be awesome.
Oh yeah.
They had amazing trailers.
Oh yeah.
The trailers, not just the trailers, but even pre-trailers, like just the little advertisements they would do and like the posters and stuff, and like I mean it was they even like stuck one they stuck a Batman and Superman and a Spider-Man. There was a billboard for that like 100 years before it came out.
I remember when we were in high school. It was like the last year we were in high school, and they dropped the image of Ben Affleck in the bat suit, and I went nuts. Like it was like 2014 or something like that. Like
2014 was when DC released all 20 movies that they were supposed to make that none got done.
Yeah,
like the Flash was supposed to come out already.
Cyborg,
the Green Lantern Corps was supposed to come
Black Adam.
Yep, Black Adam.
I mean, Black Adam
Justice League 2. They had a Justice League 2. Yeah. But the Batman that was one of the few movies that I've been most hyped for, like, ever to come out, and it disappointed
honestly,
me.
we need
so
to have
much.
at least half the podcast to talk about this because
I mean, we still got about 15 minutes left. We could talk before I want to cut it out. But
Let me just say
Wait,
what I think of the movie real quick. So the theatrical version is rough. I'm not gonna lie. As a script itself, it's rough. But the score is good, and
the score
it has
is amazing.
Individual scenes that are just amazing.
Yeah, some of the scenes,
some of the scenes, like the Batman versus Superman fight is dope. Wonder Woman coming in, man, I like my mind was blown. You know, and I thought Ben Affleck was the great Bruce Wayne.
He was,
the scene where they're at that like cocktail party or whatever. That
I told you that scene was amazing until Jesse Eisenberg's Lex Luthor.
It has elements that are really good.
Yeah,
and then the 3-hour version kind of cleans it up a little bit. Still not an amazing movie. I think the biggest issue was that, as much as I love Zack Snyder, he has a problem with like making a script that is viable for a 2.5-hour movie. Yeah. Because his entire plan was to basically make this like 4-movie saga into one big story. Yeah. And you can't really do that when people aren't committed to these characters yet, you know? Mm-hmm. Because Batman vs. Superman was really supposed to be a sequel to Man of Steel. Yeah. And then Justice League 1 and 2 were supposed to be sequels to that. Yeah. And that entire 4-movie thing was supposed to be one big arc.
Yeah, it was supposed to be like they were pretty much setting up to do like what Marvel did with the Avengers, only in a short amount of time. Yeah.
Exactly. So I think, I mean, it's hard to tell now because like Justice League was just a Frankenstein of
that. Yeah,
I mean Frankenstein. Or it was. I mean, Justice League was just a Frankenstein of a movie. I mean, it was nothing like what Zack Snyder wanted. Mm-hmm. Who knows if we'll ever get the quote unquote Snyder cut?
We won't.
But I think in an alternate universe, if we would have gotten the last 2 movies, I think it would have cleaned it up a little bit. And then there's always WB's just they just micromanage everything. I mean, the best thing that Disney has done is that they bought Marvel and they were like, okay, make me money. Yeah. Other than that,
go ahead, do your thing.
Here's Kevin Feige. He's going to tell you what direction to take this in, but it's all you, you know?
It helped that Kevin Feige was there from the jump with Marvel, which DC didn't have a person like that.
Exactly. Yeah. Compared to Warner Brothers, you just have micromanagement of this huge company that's just trying to make funds, you know? It's not really their thing to make art. Yeah. So, I mean, it's a lot of things, but I will say that there's moments in that movie that I absolutely love, and it makes me sad that we're never going to get to see the entire thing, you know, like everything that Zack Snyder wanted it to be. Yeah. But yeah, that's just my two cents on the whole basically Snyderverse.
I can agree with that. I remember I watched Batman v Superman in theaters twice. The first time I thought it was horrible, and I remember watching the second one with my dad, and I was like, all right, maybe I was just too hard on it. My expectations were really high. You know, this has been built up for 3 years, so let me just watch it again. And no, it was just as bad. The theatrical version I can't watch it. It's unwatchable for me. I can't watch. And the 3-hour version, I will say, is much better because like they took out key parts of the movie, and that it just doesn't make sense. Like even just from like a story, why it doesn't make sense.
Well, you never know why. You never know why Superman doesn't like Batman, right? Yeah, but then in the 3-hour version, you find out that he went over to Gotham to kind of do some investigating. Yeah. And he interviews all of these people in the Narrows or whatever. Yeah. In like the bad area of Gotham. Yeah. And he finds out that he's kind of a vigilante and just kind of does whatever is necessary, which is completely against Superman's code.
And it's not just like a vigilante, is like a terrorist, essentially, pretty much. But
he's pretty brutal. He's pretty brutal at that point in his career.
Yeah,
which is kind of
Batman who is killing people. Like, but this
dang it, Josh.
And well, just speak up. But the also the 3-hour version had, I forget the actress's name who played, but African lady that when Superman at the beginning of the movie had went to that African country and had saved Lois Lane. Yeah, they took out her whole storyline, which makes
you find out she was faking it.
Yeah, which makes the theatrical version make no sense at all. They took out her, and her storyline was crucial at putting all the pieces together and stuff like that. So yeah, it was just unwatchable. I'm sorry, Hunter. Keep going. Yeah.
Oh, no, I was just gonna... Bodie, do you have something to say? Because I'm about to just crap on this entire movie.
Go ahead, please.
Okay. So my problems with the movie, let's see where to start. Doomsday, you threw him away for no reason. Could have had him later on. Wonder Woman was kind of felt like a toss-in the movie. We got... now I lost my list. Thanks, Josh.
Batman killing people?
Oh, yeah. Batman killing people. His number one rule that he never breaks, that has never deviated in any of the comics, Zack Snyder goes, we're going to give him guns. Like, what? That makes zero sense.
Yeah.
And then, like, the Martha scene. Dude.
Martha. Dude, that wasn't gonna. Dude, that we weren't gonna get by without that getting brought up.
Dude,
listen, that scene could have been done better. But come on, you get the gist of the scene. They both have the. You know what's funny though? Is a week before that movie came out, I was talking to my sister, and I was like, you know, Superman and Bruce, they have the same. Their mom's name has the same. They're like that. They're both Martha. Yeah. I told my sister that the week before it came out, and then it was a big ass scene in the movie.
You're like, oh my god. Yeah, that was the best.
And here's another thing is like, okay, I get the 3-hour version is better, and Zack Snyder though can't make a movie under 3 hours and it be good. Like, I'm sorry, but he
300 is good. That's not 3 hours.
It's
no
pretty long.
Yeah, it's close to 3 hours. I'm pretty sure, and there may be a director's cut of 300 too, but it's pretty much the same thing. But the theatrical version of 300 at least was like, it was really good. It's not like,
I mean, Watchmen's theatrical version was good too.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people that'll disagree on you on that. Like, Watchmen is seen as one of like the best comic movies.
No. I like it, but I like the 3-hour version.
I mean, the 3-hour version's better, don't get me wrong, but I mean, you watch that movie and you think it was made like 2 years ago, you know, and that movie was made in 2009. You know, like the costumes are insane, the visuals are insane.
It definitely holds up the test of time.
Beats the test of time, you know.
Yeah, for sure.
Going back to Batman versus Superman.
Go ahead.
Jesse Eisenberg playing Luthor.
Yeah, that was rough.
What?
Like
his quotes, like the whole thing with the P and everything.
Forgot about the grandma's sweet tea or whatever, peach tea, whatever.
Bro, like, why would you put that in a movie? Zero cents, nada, nunca.
Yeah, there's definitely some rough part. Like, there's some stuff. I'm with you on the writing for Batman. I didn't love that at all, but there was definitely some moments, and Ben Affleck definitely brought out the best moments of Batman. There were some moments there, like some when he's talking to Alfred, Jeremy Irons' character, and like when him and Superman are talking at that party before Lex Luthor gets there and stuff like that. Like, there's some moments that are really good, and obviously the warehouse scene is a phenomenal action sequence, even though he kills some people in that scene. But that's a phenomenal action sequence, and I'm with you on the Doomsday thing. It didn't really look like Doomsday either. First off, which I can get past, but it was just like a CGI like crap hole by that point in the movie too. Like, I don't know. He looked like Abomination, like Hulk's villain, pretty much. But yeah,
and see, like, I don't understand. Sorry to cut you off, but I don't understand why in Batman versus Superman you have to have Doomsday, and like, he's not even a part of the movie until the last like 20 minutes. Yeah. And you throw him in there. Like, you easily could have made it just be about Lex Luthor who they both know about and can combat it that way. But no, you add another villain. So you start off with Lex, and then you go to the U.S. government as a villain because of what they're trying to do to Superman, and then you go back to Batman being a villain for Superman, and Superman being a villain for Batman, and then you add in Doomsday on top of all of that. It's like David was saying, it's like 5 movies in one, and so many different storylines, and
they could have they could have thrown Wonder Woman in the movie in the Doomsday role, not necessarily fight, or maybe even fighting Batman and Superman, but to bring them together. I know they needed a way for Batman and Superman to join forces at the end, and that could have happened with Wonder Woman. Wonder Woman could have united them at the end, because she's kind of like a mutual interest for both of them, sort of. But that movie.
They to say a couple of things that
you done messed up, Ron. That's all I can
say. A couple of things that I definitely didn't like. I mean, I think the number one thing is it's cool that Zack Snyder kind of pulled from The Dark Knight Returns, the graphic novel.
Yeah,
but the issue is that The Dark Knight Returns is such a good story because they
know each other.
Yeah, they know each other. They've known each other for decades. You know, they're both kind of retired. Yeah. They've banned, the U.S. government has completely banned superheroes except for Superman, who Superman is being used as basically a pawn for the.
He's a government pawn.
Basically, he's being used as a pawn for the U.S. government in the military. So it's it didn't make sense. It didn't make as much sense for you to have a older Bruce with the newer Superman when they don't have a relationship yet, because the entire time in The Dark Knight, Superman doesn't want to do anything to Bruce because he still loves Bruce, they have that mutual respect for each other. And then same thing with Bruce, I mean, they definitely could have done a lot of things differently. I think they should have just done a Batman movie as the sequel, and they should have honestly made a World's Finest movie where it's mainly about Batman and then Superman gets involved somehow, maybe a little bit.
Luthor and something like that.
Yeah.
I kind of piggybacking off what you said. I hate comparing Marvel and DC and stuff, but it would have been if they did Captain America Civil War as the second movie in the MCU. Yeah, it makes no sense because not only do those two characters not have any connection with each other, but we as an audience don't have connection to Ben Affleck's Batman or Henry Cavill's Superman yet, because this is the second movie. It's the first movie Batman's been in, but it's only the second movie that Henry Cavill's been Superman in. So we don't, as an audience, don't have a connection with them either. So there's no emotional weight in that Martha scene or when they're fighting or anything like that, because we don't, we're not connected with them. But Bodie, did you have anything to add on this before we close out?
No, at all. Actually, I just I've only seen it once. Didn't get that deep into it. Didn't like it.
Didn't like it. Didn't care.
Bodie's still in timeout for liking the Joker more than the Dark Knight.
Okay, in the Dark Knight, in the Dark Knight, he says,
"Okay, boomer."
To kill the bus driver. And the guy says, "What bus?" He would have never said "what bus driver." He would have shot him right there. He didn't know ice right there.
That would have been funny. He's like, "Oh, I'm supposed to kill a bus driver." And
every time I watch that, he's like, "What bus driver?" No, he would have shot him bus driver. Yeah,
that'll be. I'm sure somebody will put that in a parody video. I'm sure that's been in a parody video or something like that. How it should have ended, but that's all. That's all we have time for today, guys. Thank you for joining us on another episode of the Fan Wars podcast. We're gonna be transitioning into this more discussion type format and stuff like this, more laid back. And like I said, this episode will be out on Podbean and YouTube as usual, but we might be switching the formats come later episodes. But Bodie, where can people find you at?
Hey, you can find me on Twitter at Cody S. Williams, and that's it.
David, where can people find you at?
You say me?
Yeah, David.
Yeah,
I said David. Oh, my God, David. Where
you can find me at David Hidalgo 44 on Instagram. And real quick, shout out to Tristan, our number one fan.
Yeah, Tristan Salinas, number one fan. Big ups the whole island. Hunter, where can people find you?
You can find me on Instagram at Hunter_Holmes10.
All right, and you can find me on Twitter and Instagram at the Great Josh V. You guys can tweet us, send hate mail to Bodie, whatever you want to do. Tweet us with your comments, questions, or concerns, or if you just want to talk nerd stuff, we're always down for that. But thanks for joining in with us today, guys. All right, we'll see you next time.